Howdy heretics and welcome to my bunker. I'm here planning protest season 2020 because evil prevail when good men do nothing. But good men can always do better. I noticed that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have a tendency to focus what everyone else is doing wrong instead of focus what we can do right, how we can work together. And human rights is a good thing. Politicians understand what we're talking about. Worldly people understand what we're talking about. Other cult members from other cults understand what we're talking about. Hashtag all religions must. All religions must respect human rights. Otherwise they should lose government funding, tax exemption, all of that. That's an easy sell, but someone has to do it. So, we have to learn to be more professional to have a better impact. My hope for 2020 is at least 12 hashtag all religions must protest. We're planning in Prague. I'm talking to people about Zurich, and I would really like to have one in Helsinki. Talking about Nairobi, someone in Nigeria, and the United States. We help the Mormons with the Children's March. Maybe they will help us. We can have so much fun, and media attention creates media attention. So I'm really looking forward to this. And now we're working on a spreadsheet, so it's easy for those who want to partake of this and plan a protest to work with this spreadsheet, and we get a professional planning. So, and I just wanted to meet this one. This one was born less than 1,500 grams, so she's been living with me because she's too small to be outside. So you're the reason why we can't have carpets. But I named her Erin after one of my patrons because I want to show appreciation for all my patrons that help me, because this takes a lot of time to plan. But now we're going to talk with Philip, and I will let him introduce himself. So, Philip?
Hi, my name is Philip DiBiase. I'm a former experienced lead campaign organizer, and I've worked on various different campaigns. And what we're trying to do is help organize the next, you would say, awareness raising. Yeah, a couple of protests across Australia for the next international and also regional sort of conventions held by specific organizations that don't support the continuation of human rights that we hold dear in this country.
Yeah, and you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
Yes, I am. So I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't fully baptized. I was an unbaptized publisher. And my current status is disassociated when I sent in a letter.
Okay. So, and then you went to the dark side and worked with politics.
Indeed.
And campaigning.
And campaigning, yeah.
This is a political campaigning plan.
Yeah, correct. Just
we can use the same.
I'm sorry?
We can use the same.
Yes.
Yes, you can. We'll just modify it. So you get your list of volunteers, and typically what you have is your basic roster. Now, the name of the person, what they're doing, where they are. And now you divide the whole space into the number of entrances. So as you can see, this is a stadium, and there appears to be 40 different aisles. And so that's the aisles, and there would be about 7 different gates. So you can't get all your volunteers to one gate. So what you need to make sure you do is you cover all the entrances. So there's one at Latrobe Street with the steps, there's one over here, there, and there's nothing there because it's the train line. And so then you go back to your roster list and you name them, sorry. So, location.
We were limited as far as what was public land, because that was the limitation that we had, that we were only allowed on public land. Anything within the Marvel Stadium is hired by the
Watchtower Bible and Tract Society.
Yes, and so we weren't able to cross that line. So.
I'm very familiar with that. In fact, there's more restrictions placed on campaigns, like election campaigns.
Yep.
So you can't even be on like a public. You can't even be on Metro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
even though it's public.
We had to avoid being on the Metro property as well.
Yes, but they really can't sort of kick you out, you know what I mean? Because this is a not-for-profit type of thing, you know what I mean? It's a protest.
Yes.
Yeah, so you actually, whereas Metro would just flat out say no to us.
We actually had one of the station masters actually come up and says, "Thank God you guys are here because you're doing a great job." And he says he actually had a family that were in the organisation and he was for us altogether.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, and he came out and says, "You did a great job today." And that was on a few of the days. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So location. So the person where they're going to be. Ultimately, it'll be a long ways. The person where they're going to be at what time. You know what I mean? And you've called at least one person. Now, we'll call these locations booths. Each booth needs a booth captain. 100%. Can't not have one. All right. And that's someone you know who will rock up. And you know is somewhat competent, not to do anything stupid.
So others are supporters for each of those.
Yeah. Okay, so you have your booth captains, and so they are the person that are directly responsible for whoever's assigned to their booth. And so then they call that person the day before and make sure that they rock up and stuff like that. And if they can't rock up, that's fine. If they need an Uber, we get them an Uber. You know what I mean? The roster organizer, in this case theoretically would be Renee, needs to come with food and water at random point, snacks, you know what I mean? Basic snacks, and just go around and give them, snacks. You also need to maintain some form of a membership list with their contact details. Oh, you don't know how lucky you are. As far as protesting goes, this is probably, campaigns go, this is probably the easiest thing I've ever seen. Okay, now obviously we don't do door knocking. There's no pre-poll. Social events, you've done a social event, that's important. Put that in bold. Sort of rally the troops. Important dates to take note of. Yep. So, when did we do the dinner?
Each evening.
I don't know. Do you remember when, was it the day before?
We did have a dinner bit.
We had every evening.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Friday,
evening.
Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. You need one before.
Yeah.
So. A second.
And it came PMOs. We were twice as many on the dinners than on the protest, and that was kind of fun. It came a lot of PMOs, so because they were at the party with us one day, and the next day we would see them with a convention bag and a Bible.
Yeah, poor guys. I honestly feel sorry for them.
Yeah, but it felt good to be able to give them
exactly
the camaraderie they needed
to survive it.
Exactly.
All right. And you try and make the volunteer dinner semi-strict. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the best way to do it, save time and money, is just do it on the Sunday afternoon. All right, for everyone at once, and you make it a big bash. You know what I mean? That's typically it. Yeah. That would just be my advice. That's what we do. So we have pre-poll in elections. That's 2 weeks beforehand, right?
Yep.
And it's the whole day, and people come to vote in drips and drabs. And then so we don't do a party each time. It's just too difficult. But we make sure we give them snacks and stuff like that, and stuff. But then at the end, you do a big sort of volunteer dinner, and that you try and make it as strict as you can to volunteers. You know what I mean? Or financial donors. That's always good. So you combine this effectively. Yeah, no campaign events really. With your roster. And you've got most of it covered once we fix up sort of the slogans, A-frames, sort of different 3-word shirts, and I'll get you an example of a shirt in a minute. That's about it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'll fix some stuff up, and I'm happy to closer. Yeah, so
I think it's also a good thing that when you have a dynamic spreadsheet and you can share it with other people as time progresses, as you're going through different stages, people can see what's being built up, and everyone.
That's where Google Docs comes in.
And everyone is able to know what the current development is, what the current communication is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a lot of vicarious sort of things, you know what I mean? So handing out free biscuits, you know what I mean? Because we had a lot of guys come up to us that said we support you, but we can't visibly support you, right? There was this young guy reminded me of me, and we need sort of so there's an app called Snapchat and Wicker, which sort of messages disappear. So even if their parents sort of monitor, their Facebook, which is unfortunately all too common, you can give them Snap, so this is our Snapchat, message us if you need any help and support,
Yep.
So yeah, signs like shunning someone, ? A-frames, covering all the entrances, get it all rostered, rewarding your volunteers. Oh, big one. So media and other religious organizations. So yeah, when you get the media involved, message them at least a month in advance, because we're very, 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 very fortunate. We know the date that'll happen, right?
Yep.
So you can tell journalists 6 months ahead. You know what I mean? There'll be this protest at this date at this time.
So, the same thing at the moment. We've just passed this particular protest, and we can start planning on the next one and we have all the information as far as locations and dates for next year.
Yeah, exactly. And so you would so then they'd be getting other religions to help, like the Mormons, very great. You know, Uniting Church. Quakers are always good. Quakers are great. I think they're called the International Society of Friends now. Buddhists, of course. Some very liberal synagogues. Yeah, just really get everyone.
We do have some connections with other organisations, religious organisations.
But even ones that are in, because it shows they're not anti-religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's your take
You're
on...
anti-cult, and that's the big difference.
Yeah. We're not anti-religion.
Yeah.
People can believe what they want.
Literally. We're just anti-cult.
Yeah, we're pro-human rights. We're not protesting. I'm not protesting against the witnesses.
No.
I'm protesting pro the witnesses.
Correct.
They have the human rights to choose their religion.
Exactly.
But also the human right to leave.
And the message needs to be, we're supporting their human rights because they cannot protest.
Yeah.
If they protest, they will lose their family.
Yeah.
We, you know what I mean, are just trying to do something for, you know what I mean, and that's it. That's what it is. And some of us have already bitten the bullet. Some of us have already lost it. Some have, lost their family already. Some have pushed. Some, did it themselves, just for this, reason. It's not we've left the religion and now, we're just trying to hit back at them. We're trying to actively improve the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses on a daily basis. That needs to be the strong messaging. So, and each one of your volunteers needs to know exactly what the message is. You know what I mean? Because that's very important. Even though they might have their own opinions, even though they might be fully atheist or something, that's fine. They just need to understand what that is.
Yeah. We also parallel the organising with Facebook Messenger, and so we're able to get people involved, update them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even signs like "We love Jehovah's Witnesses" on a sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we did have one sign that indicated those details, and I held it up at the end of the last session, and people were leaving, and I had a few people come up to me and say, it was nice that we had a positive message in that regards.
You need it.
Yeah.
The child protection thing, like the word abuse can't be. It needs to be more policies to protect children. You can't. You know what I mean? We have to steer away from the word abuse or anything like that. So you'd have to policies for protecting children, like that's it. You couldn't go any more harsher than that, I think. Because I got some feedback from some relatives, and they're going around saying we're child molesters and stuff. You know what I mean? Go on the charities register, right? Look under Victoria and look under who's registered as a religion and email them all. And I mean all of them. And see if they can come or make a statement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every single one. There'll be thousands.
Yeah.
Probably. And you get an insane response, I imagine. And then of the volunteers, you need to vet them, make sure that they're not cuckoo. But, that's fine. And then when you email a journalist and you say, I have 300, you know what I mean, different... Because of the thousands, a lot will respond, you know what I mean? You'll get 300, you know what I mean, people saying, of different religions commenting on this issue. Yeah, it'd be insane. Yeah. All the archdioceses, everyone, from Methodists to Baptists, yeah. Oh, and you need a videographer.
For
official photography of some description and a Facebook page instead of there's a group, that's fine. Then there'd be something like a page, and the page would be something like it'll be the main message, improving Jehovah's Witnesses human rights or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or protesting religious abuse or something like that.
We often have different limitations as far as we had a photographer at
Yes.
at the protest, but he wasn't there the whole of the
Right.
protest.
So that would be your main organizer.
Mhm.
It wouldn't necessarily be a professional. Didn't have to be. It would be your main organizer, and they can do it from their phone.
Yep.
But so long as everyone needs to know that's the videographer. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because there was stuff that I saw. There was a homeless guy that came and helped us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That would have been friggin' perfect. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even homeless people can agree. You
Mhm.
know that this is insane.
Yep.
Like, yeah. So you know, and so long as then they've got almost all the photos, and they know where to send photos to, and then they know where they'll end up.
Yep.
Would be
Mhm.
good. Designated. And now politics, politicians, etc. So yeah, you would definitely approach them, and so you need to have a lot more of those meetings. Can't be naive. You need to know what you're doing. You need it in writing, very specific, you know, and succinct plan. Exactly what you're asking, exactly what it'll cost, or how much money it would raise.
Yep.
Exactly how many people it'll affect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the first instance of appearance in the media? What would their response be? And that's it. And if you produced an article backed by with comments from 30 other different religious ministers, right?
Yep.
So the journalist, you know, you did the protest. The journalist covered the protest. Got those, you know, saw the people of different faiths there. Got the comments from all the other, you know, people. They write the story, and then you go to a politician with the news article. Less than a month before it's published.
Mm-hmm.
You'll show that it's got broad-based support. You know, the media agrees with you, so you pass the vetting of a journalist, so they don't think you're batshit. National reach, etc. And this is what you're trying to do, and, you know, they can appear popular. They'll love it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, again, Jehovah's Witnesses don't great, so, you know, it's not too much of an issue. Well, it is, but, you know, they just got to do it right. And to focus on the financial arguments, you know what I mean? Like, how much does it cost to rebuild a family? You know, virtually impossible, etc. Go to the family court, find out how many court cases have been, you know, brought about, and, you know, under the religious denomination, how many, say, Jehovah's Witnesses, for an example, and then see which of them are long custody battles, and you get a dollar figure on that. You know what I mean? And all these other little things, and then you put it together, and then you say, look, we're not asking you to crack down on them. We're just asking you not to get a tax exemption, you know, which some charities would struggle to even get.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
I'm happy to help you with it, like each step of the way, type of thing. I'd say number one would be get your volunteer list. They're invaluable. Look for people who could potential donors. Even like Atheist Alliance and stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be people. Yeah, and just go from there.
Yeah. Okay, some interesting ideas. Some of these we did have planned,
Great.
such as alliances, getting media involved.
Yes.
And
well, I'll help you with it
on
the ground, because I know a few journalists.
Having organised things even earlier probably would have been beneficial. But the organisers of this particular protest were handed to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of the reason someone actually said they were going to take responsibility and organise it last year.
Yep.
And then they backed out of it.
Yeah, I can understand.
In May, so left us only with 6 months to do everything.
Believe me, I understand. I'm not criticising them in any way. It's amazing. Like, there weren't protests for years and years and years, and, you know, I never saw one. You know what I mean? Really. So the fact that we've gotten to that stage, fucking people from Norway flew down. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect people from Queensland to come. We had like 10.
Yeah. No, it was good.
We're getting more and more professional each time.
Yes.
And that's why we're here talking to you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can use it against Watchtower.
Well, I wouldn't say that specifically. It's more against individuals and organisations which specifically, you know, don't respect human rights. You know,
yeah.
And that would be it. If any organisation was to, you know, even North Korea, if they were to change completely, you know, and become actually, you know, a good country, I would no longer
We're
see a
about
need to
changing
attack
policies
them.
and abuse.
That's my line. We can't remove the cult, but we can improve the cult.
Yeah, and hopefully it won't become be a cult anymore.
Yeah.
You know? If they can celebrate Christmas and then not celebrate Christmas, I think they can stop shunning people.
Okay, we're done. Let's go to lunch.
Yalla.
All right.
Okay.
We're on.